Hi guys, so today we got Chris online, who's been an e-trading academy members for the past 6 months, and he nicely agreed to share his experience with us, how he sees the course, how he approaches the market, etc. So my first question to you, Chris, would be, what tempted you originally to learn about trading?
I really started off as a forex trader because I like the 24/7 aspect of the markets, but then got a little bit overwhelmed with this aspect and the fact that the markets never close. I liked the regular, so I started trying to transition myself into the stock market. And the course really helped for that, I must say. In terms of performance, I really had my ups and downs in the forex market when I was doing it. But at the time, I really put an effort to learn actually and gain a knowledge base in the actual in the workings of how to trade certain products. I am a medical student, and health sciences is at my heart, but I do feel that e-trading gives me the potential to make a little bit more extra money to maybe supplement that towards my tuition costs at the end of the year. That's why I like using e-trading, and for me, making a realistic target of about 100 to $200 a day could really go a long way.
Right. Okay. Look, I mean, I think like your goals are quite realistic. I like the way you view things at this stage, and even making like $100, as you said, $100 a day on average would go a long way for you to pay off part of the
Hmm.
cost of education and stuff.
Hmm.
So personally, when I started on my own, I always also setting myself some low but realistic goals that I could achieve
Hmm.
without having to put me under stress or pressure. Granted that I've been most of my career working for the boss and making, a decent, comfortable living. So when
Yeah.
I set up my own shop, I was clearly starting with some decent financial cushion, enabling me to be more relaxed on my trading. But I feel that no matter what your overall financial situation is, the most important thing is to keep up with realistic, achievable goals and
Hmm.
build from there. I wanted to ask you, since you started, what was the most valuable thing you feel you've learned or you liked from the course from e-trading?
I really like the webinars and the three-dimensional approach. I really like trading and talking to people doing the same thing as me, and that's just like what we have in medicine is collaborative effort, and I feel that I get from me trading too, because you guys are always on call to answer any questions I have.
Right. And this, from the main strategies, I mean, what
Yeah.
would you say, which one is the one you feel closer to? I mean, or the most comfortable with?
Um, I think the breaking loose strategy is really good, but I struggle with a low win ratio. I prefer the back to trend strategy as the strats are slower and it gives me time to reflect on my trading decision and the scanners and see what good candidates were doing in the slower pace of the market and get those swings.
Okay, that's I see. I mean, it's it's good that basically you've been able to pick the strategy that you like.
Mhm.
On a sort of like different perspective, I was curious, but what made you choose um, e-trading academy as opposed to another training course out there?
I looked at the ad campaigns, but I really found it inspiration on the background that you were coming from, and so wanted to practically learn how to trade and have assistance in doing that and become my own man in the end.
Okay. I'm glad to hear that that you say that, and this course is at the end of the result of many years in the making and many
Mhm.
trials and errors. And God knows that I went through many peaks and valleys, stress, failure, success. I mean, I tried and tested so many things, so many systems, indicators, methods along the years, but at the end, I always came back to basics. Simple but consistent and solid strategies.
Mhm.
And these are the ones that I teach you in my course. These are the
Mhm.
ones that I believe in because they're proven to work over the long run. And I would never claim to be a genius or some sort of inventors or anything revolutionary, but I can claim high and loud that my long experience enabled me to work out what works and what doesn't.
Mhm.
And more importantly, to put all the pieces of this big puzzle together to fit into a complete method. So the main three core strategies of the course is what I teach. And as a coach, I always put my traders to pick their favorite strategy, the one that they feel deep inside their guts, because unless they master one strategy that fits their personality best, they will
Mhm.
never be able to learn any other. So I first push my students to find their bread and butter strategy, and then only then start trying to master different patterns. So,
Mhm.
I'm quite glad that basically you've gone for one of the strat, that you found your happiness in one of these strategies, and that you focus on it now. Because now I can tell you that, the most important is to keep aiming at being realistic, and with, keeping realistic goals. And more importantly, and probably the hardest part of the whole job, is to
Mhm.
work hard at it and keep the discipline to follow the strategy, because it is very extremely easy to lose focus and to get tempted by the market into doing something else.
Mhm.
Now, Chris, let me ask you, what do you find is the hardest thing at this stage in your own personal trading?
The hardest thing for me is always going to be Olivier, I never stop out at the right time. 70% to 80% of the time I do, but in actual fact, I'm not at the point that I want to be.
Right, you still basically hesitate, right? I mean, you still,
Yes, yes.
and look, I mean, being, for instance, down on a trade and holding on to it instead of stopping out is the most common thing among traders,
Mhm.
especially, beginner traders. But I mean, okay, you're not that beginners, but okay, it is something that definitely comes out as the commonality among, the mistakes that traders make. And with time and experience, you learn on how to detach yourself emotionally from the trade and really treat it like a number.
Mhm.
Like, this trade is only one among thousands of other trades that you'll end up making. When you start thinking in terms of probable outcomes instead of concentrating on one trade,
Mhm.
it means you've stepped into the big boys club. But getting to that point means getting through the learning curve, which is more or less, where you're at now, building your strong foundation. So, patience, you'll eventually get there. You'll basically get 100% or 99% of the trades. Well, you'll decide to stop at when you're supposed to,
Mhm.
and you'll get there definitely. I'm sure about that. Now, to finish up, I'd like to ask you, what would you say to someone out there looking for a trading education course like e-trading? What's the most important thing to you, and that you consider in a course?
I would say find a good mentor. Find a person that will be there for you every step of the way when you're learning how to do it. And please, I would say to everyone, watch out for charlatans. There's a lot of people out there that say they know what they're doing, and in actual fact, they end up losing you money, more money than they end up making. So I would say that's the most important thing for me. And a structured course like you had that, definitely.
Okay, super, great. Look, I want to thank you a lot, Chris, for taking the time to share your thoughts with us. And I find it's always quite refreshing to hear back from you guys. And I also think that the community of traders also enjoy sharing everyone's else experience. So it's always very useful. So thanks again, and I think we'll wrap this interview by wishing you good luck on your trading, good continuation, and I hope to see you around very soon.
My pleasure.
All right,
Bye.
mate. See
Bye.
you.
Bye.